Hi there. Today I want to talk about a phrase that has been in my head constantly this past couple weeks, and it is rejection is redirection. Now, we are humans, we all face rejection and failure throughout our lives, and I want to tell you how you can turn any form of rejection into a positive and see it as your new superpower. Rejection is really hard because as humans, especially me, I get very emotionally attached to situations. And when you're really hoping on something, you're betting on something, you start to imagine your life in whatever situation or whatever you were betting on. You built a sort of identity surrounded to this. And even if it's failure, you built your identity to something you're trying to achieve over and over and over. So when it doesn't work out, it's very soul crushing. I have been rejected for something I really cared about recently, and this is how I've been handling it. Now, I want to talk about this in a logical way, and I also want to talk about this in a more spiritual way. Logically, when you are rejected, you can use this as your new motivation. This will make you hungry. For example, let's say you got rejected from your dream job, right? You are now hungry to try again to get that new job. Use it as motivation. Remember how bad that feeling was when you got the notice that it wasn't gonna work out or whatever it was. Use that as your motivation to try harder. Just because you fail once doesn't mean it's over. Things take time. Things don't happen like this. If everything happened like this, everyone would have it like this, But that's not how things work, unless you can manifest it like that. But I think that if something doesn't go the way that you planned, it genuinely does make you more hungry. For example, if you are a helpless romantic and you have bets on, you're talking to someone, you think you guys are gonna get along, and like you guys think you're gonna date, all of a sudden it doesn't work out. That's okay, because it makes you appreciate and treasure the relationship more. Does that make sense? Or the idea of a relationship more, because you failed. If there's no bad, there's no way to recognize the good. And that's kind of my next topic is failure. Yes, it makes you hungry, but it also makes you very grateful in a way. I grew up very unfortunate. I didn't have a lot of money growing up, and there was times where I didn't even have a bed to sleep on. I was sleeping on the floor. Now, I'm very grateful for a bed. I'm very grateful for the roof over my head, but a lot of people see that as sort of just like an everyday daily thing. Because I've been through the struggle of not even having a bed, I know how much a bed means. So once again, back to the dream job scenario. Let's say you don't get this dream job. You now know how, at least you have a job, and you're grateful that, you at least can spend or live comfortably, and just because you can appreciate what you have now doesn't mean you still can't strive hard. So let's say my dream job is to become, I don't know, a firefighter, and I don't pass one of my tests. That's my rejection, right? I'm gonna think in my head, I appreciate that I'm able to take these tests. I appreciate that I have the time, and I appreciate that I have another job where I can support myself and also take my firefighting tests. I don't really know how that works. I'm very appreciative of that. And you know what? I want it even more now. I'm even more hungry to pass this test. I'm going to study harder. I'm going to try harder. I'm going to have a better mindset going in. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to take care of myself more. It turns you into like a friggin' monster. Another thing I want to talk about is more on the spiritual side. But God / the universe or whatever higher thing you believe in has a plan for all of us. So something I love to tell myself is when something doesn't go my way, I get excited. You can get very excited. You can tell yourself, like, even if you don't believe it and you're bummed out, I really force myself to be excited. I force myself to be so delusional to think like, okay, well, I didn't get what I wanted because something way better is coming. And I don't have to know what is coming, why it's coming, or why this is happening, when it's coming. I just know something better is coming. And that's like an affirmation you can also practice, is God will always give me like what's meant for me, or the universe will always give me what's meant for me. I genuinely think that everything happens for a reason, and if the universe and God doesn't provide something in your life, there's a meaning for it and there's a reason for it. And everything can be a lesson. Anything can, everything is a reason. I recently have been through a breakup, kind of like a year ago. And at the time, I remember I was very sad. I didn't want to, break it off with this person, but I knew that I had to because they just weren't treating me right and I wasn't getting what I wanted. Now, I did not want to do that. And you know what? Even after I broke up with them, I tried to go back. I drunk texted them, did the whole nine. Thankfully, they did not respond. Now, if they would have responded and if we would have got back together, I would not be in the position that I'm in right now. And I'm very grateful that God handed me that rejection, because now I've been traveling, I've been doing so good for myself, and I've learned a lot just about myself. And I'm young and I get to live my young life, and I feel very confident and happy in my decision now, which is something I did not feel before. But I had to gain that rejection and I had to learn that this is a good thing. I had to choose something that was really hard for myself, to know that everything else is going to be okay. And I did not know how it was going to be okay, when it would happen, why this person wasn't treating me like I wanted. Why isn't he treating me like this? How come this is the way it is? Like, why, God? Why? But now I'm grateful and I'm like, you know what? That was a big redirection I needed in my life. And now I would do that a million times over again, and I would not change anything about it. The world, God made billionaires. Kylie Jenner, she woke up and she was a freaking millionaire, right? People out there are so lucky. When you ask God or the universe for something, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Because if these people have all of this, and that, and you're asking for a text back, you're asking for something small, no, go big or go home. Obviously be grateful for what you have now, but God made these millionaires and billionaires. Why not you? Why can't you be one? Why not? Give me a valid reason why you can't be one. Because a lot of them didn't grow up with all the privileges. Some of them, like I said, like Kylie Jenner, grew up with all the privilege. A lot of people didn't grow up with a lot of privilege and they still made it out. If you believe in something so much, prove everyone wrong. Keep believing in it, and don't let failure make you stop believing in it, because that's where a lot of people give up, and that's why a lot of people are not to that point. Once they fail, once they give up, their motivation is lost. But you have to be kind of use it as an ego thing. That's what I do. Honestly, you have to freaking beat everyone else and be better than everyone else. And if that means you have to keep trying, then you're gonna keep trying. And then once you get what you wanted, you're gonna be like, wow, I worked so hard for this. I appreciate this more. I love it. When I was in high school, I had to save up for a car, and I didn't have a job one summer. And in high school, I've always had a job. I was that was my regular. So this one summer, I did not have a job. I was applying like crazy everywhere. No one would hire me. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna focus on the gym, because I really liked going to the gym. And it made me very, very consistent in the gym. It made me very active. And it made me have a lot of time to myself. And it made me kind of be lonely and isolated, which at the time I wasn't really understanding why I wasn't getting what I wanted. But now I appreciate having a job a lot more, which is silly, but I appreciate having a job. I appreciate when I did get my job, I was able to save up and buy my car, and I was so appreciative of it. And it made me feel wow, I worked for this. I worked very hard for this when I bought my first car. It felt very, very good. I know things might not seem very good right now, but just remember, everything happens for a reason, and please remember that everything is for your higher and greatest power. Just try your best to remain positive, because in a year from now, I promise it'll all be okay and it'll all be worked out. There have been so many points in my life. If you have anxiety, I have ADHD and anxiety, so when I like freak out, it won't stop. But just think to yourself that it's gonna work out. And there's been moments where I freaked out and literally thought like my whole life was over, and I look back and I'm like, whoa, like, Lily, it's okay, like, you can breathe in, breathe out, like, it all worked itself out. And look at me, it all worked. I'm telling you, it's gonna work itself out. I really hope that you can remain positive and take something for this and kind of see what you can do with this time of this period of rejection. And when I say period in time is because I genuinely don't believe, like, if you want something, you can get it in this life. I'll be the person. I believe in you. You can get it in this life. If you want something very bad enough, you can get it. But there might be periods where you have to work a little harder. There might be periods where you fail a little bit. But you can genuinely get anything you want in this life. So let me be the person to tell you that. Anyways, I hope you guys have an amazing, loving day. This is my first video ever, so I'm sorry about the lighting or if it's not that great. Every time I feel called to talk about something, I'd want to talk about it on here. And subscribe if you enjoyed. And I think that's all I have to say. I hope to be posting on here a lot more because I feel very passionate about things, and a lot of these types of videos have helped me become the woman I am. So I'd love to help people out there. And yeah, have a good day. Stay positive. Spread love.